The day the world caught fire, the vanishing evidence of Tunguska, the vast silence of Siberia. On the morning of June the 30th, 1908, it was as heavy and frozen as ever. The sun was just beginning to peek through the towering pines of the taiga. Yakov, an Evenki hunter, stood by the riverbank, watching the faint tremors on his fishing line. Like everyone born to this land, he knew the language of nature. But that morning, nature had gone mute. The birds were silent, the wind held its breath. And then, the sky split in two. A light appeared on the horizon, brighter than the sun, a fierce glare that seared into the brain. Yakov threw himself to the ground. There was a moment of absolute silence, as if the universe had taken a deep breath and was waiting. And then, the world exploded. The shock wave crushed the forest like a giant hand. 80 million trees were leveled in a single second, snapped like matchsticks. The air grew hot as a furnace. Even breathing became an agony. Yakov was hurled through the air, a relentless ringing in his ears, a frantic hammering in his heart, waiting for death. In villages hundreds of miles away, people thought the sun had exploded, that the end of the world had come. That night, the sky over Europe glowed with a strange crimson hue, so bright that people could read newspapers in the middle of the night on the streets of London and Paris. Here lies the most terrifying what if of the story. If that celestial object had entered the atmosphere just 4 hours and 47 minutes later, the Earth's rotation would have placed the epicenter not in the desolate forests of Siberia, but directly over St. Petersburg, the capital of Russia at the time. Millions of lives, centuries of history, and an entire culture would have vaporized in the blink of an eye. The world was so lucky that morning. The destruction chose a remote corner, witnessed only by the trees and a few lonely souls like Yakov. Years later, when scientists finally reached that hellish site, they were speechless. 2,000 square kilometers of land had been flattened. The trees lay sprawled outward from the center, like the wings of a giant butterfly. But there was a bizarre anomaly. There was no crater. Nothing had struck the ground. It was as if an invisible hand had flicked a finger from the heavens and scorched everything below. Science called it an airburst. A celestial body had detonated under atmospheric pressure before ever touching the Earth. For Yakov, these technical explanations didn't matter. Until the day he died, he felt that light behind his eyelids. The elders in his village said, "The sky spirits were angry with us." But Yakov knew. This wasn't anger. This was a silent reminder of how vast the universe is and how vulnerable we truly are. Since then, the trees in Tunguska have grown back, but the secret of that morning is not buried in the ground. It still hangs in that deep, silent sky. Do you think the world will be this lucky next time?